only differs and differs. While the entire history of Western philosophy is built on hidden hierarchy, and the hierarchy is unstable. Today we are diving into one of the most difficult and the most revolutionary books of the 20th century, of Grammatology, by Jacques Derrida. Published in 1967, this book introduced the method known as deconstruction. It doesn't destroy meaning, it reveals the instability already inside it. To understand Derrida, we need to start with language. So Derrida begins by identifying what he calls logocentrism. Western philosophy, from Plato to Rousseau to Saussure, privileges speech over writing, presence over absence, original over copy, nature over culture. Speech is seen as immediate, authentic, close to thought. Writing is seen as secondary, a representation of speech. Derrida calls this bias phonocentrism, and he argues this hierarchy is unstable. To show this, he began with linguistics, especially Ferdinand de Saussure and his calls in general linguistics. Saussure claimed that writing is merely a representation of the speech, but Derrida asks if language is a system of differences, if meaning arises from relational structures, then isn't speech already opening like the writings? Already dependent on the absence? Already structured by the difference? This is a crack in the foundation. So one of Derrida's most famous ideas appears here. Difference, spelled with an A. In French, difference and difference sound identical. You cannot hear the difference. It is visible only in the writing. This is a derivative. Difference combines two meanings. 1. To differ, meaning arises from distinction. 2. To differ, meaning is postponed, never fully present. Meaning is never fully present in a word. It refers to other words, which refer to other words, which refer to other words. There is no final anchor, no transcendental signified. Language is an endless chain of traces, and this trace structure undermines the idea of stable presence. So Derrida introduces a radical idea. Writing is not secondary. Writing before speech, not literal writing with ink, but structure, trace, spacing. Every sign contains absence. Every word functions because something is not there. When I say tree, the actual tree is absent. Meaning requires absence. The speech is not pure presence. It is already structured by difference in the trace, like writing. The hierarchy collapses. A major portion of the book analyzes the Jacques and Rousseau. The Rousseau believed speech is natural, writing is artificial, writing collapses presence. But Derrida shows something fascinating. Rousseau describes writing as a supplement. The supplement is something added. But here's a twist. A supplementary only exists if something is lacking. If speech were complete, why would it need a supplement? The supplement both adds to and replaces something. So writing revealed that speech was never self-sufficient. The hierarchy reveals itself. Writing exposes the lack already present in a speech. This is deconstruction in action, not destruction, but showing internal instability. So Derrida connects his argument to structuralism. Structuralism says systems are organized around the structures, but traditionally structures assume a center, God, truth, origin, and reason. And Derrida argues the center is paradoxical. It originates the structure, but it's not itself part of it. This is unstable. There is no fixed center, only play, the free play of signifiers. Meaning becomes a dynamic rather than a fixed. So let's simplify the deconstruction. It is not saying the texts mean nothing, arbitrary interpretation, intellectual chaos. It is identifying a binary hierarchy, speech/writing, presence/absence, nature/culture, showing how the inferior term is necessary for the superior term, revealing how the hierarchy destabilizes itself. So deconstruction exposes the hidden assumptions. It needs carefully, extremely carefully. So this book reshaped the literary theory and anthropology and psychoanalysis and political theory and architecture discourse. So after this Derrida, meaning is never fully stable. Texts undermine themselves. Structures are dynamic. Even identity becomes fluid. Even truth becomes relational. And of course, there's a criticism and controversy. And critics claim he promotes relativism. He makes meaning impossible. He destroys philosophy. But Derrida insisted deconstruction is not nihilism. It is responsibility. If meaning is not fixed, interpretation requires ethical care. There is no final authority, only reading. So why this still matters today? In the digital age, we live in the endless chain of the signs. Memes reference memes. News references commentary. Identity is constructed through the languages. AI generalized language based on relational difference. Social predicted the structure. Derrida exposed instability within the structure. Understanding this helps us see how narratives shift, how power operates in the language, how ideology hides in the binary hierarchies. In a world obsessed with certainty, Derrida teaches intellectual humility. So as a final reflection, traditional philosophy assumed a foundation, a stable ground. Derrida suggests the ground itself is a structure by difference. No pure origin, no untouched foundation, only traces. But this does not disappear, it is openness. Meaning is not closed, it is dynamic. Thank you for watching and hope this summary helps you and you will have the opportunity to read the actual text and learn more about it. And still, we are just halfway up the ladder of the knowledge of all of architecture, art, philosophy, and design. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below.